Okay guys, I am of the firm opinion today is the 24th of February, markets have closed a couple of hours ago. Looking at the ETF GBTC, which broadly speaking tracks the spot Bitcoin price, I'm of the firm opinion that we are going to make a move to the upside from this position, making perhaps a 37% move to the upside to get up to the daily 200-day moving average. Now, what's the reason for this? Why am I making this call? Let's look at the S&P 500. This is the SPY. We broke the lows of January today. We opened lower, we gapped lower, and then price recovered. This is on volume as well. That's on good volume. So basically, they knocked out all the stops. All the people that would have put stops there were triggered. They were blown out, and then the market makers just turned it around and brought this thing higher. That is a very, very, very bullish sign. The S&P 500, I reckon, should get up to about this level here on its initial move over the coming weeks. So for now, this is the low in the correction that we have seen. It may even be a low for many, many months until another correction comes either later in the year or next year. Let's look at the weekly chart. This is of the S&P 500, and I'm focusing on this because this is important. A rising tide lifts all boats. Look at this on the weekly chart, which will complete tomorrow. So if we get an up move in the markets tomorrow, which I believe we will, this will develop and complete into a green hammer. And that will be a bottoming tail on the weekly chart, which is a very, very bullish sign. And we'll get back up to around this level, maybe the 455 level, maybe even go back and test the highs. Now let's translate that. Let me just go back to the daily of the S&P 500. The fact that we penetrated the low here and came back up, we said, is bullish. But let's now translate this and look back at our Bitcoin. We did not even test the low of January. Price never came down to the low of the 24th of Jan. It lingered around here. And with the markets turning around, Bitcoin has done exactly the same as what the S&P 500 has done. The S&P 500 made a top in November. Bitcoin made a top in November. Let me have a look at S&P 500. Okay, made a slightly later top. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Okay, so it was Bitcoin was broadly speaking following the Nasdaq. It topped out here 22nd of November. Bitcoin was slightly earlier, but looking at the Nasdaq, look at this bullish engulfing candle. Again, looking at the weekly chart, we are also getting a bottoming tail on the Nasdaq, just like on the S&P 500. So the Nasdaq should also make a good move higher now. Going back to Bitcoin, it's done exactly or a very similar pattern. Let's look at the daily. We've got this reversal candle here. We did not even break the lows of January. We didn't even come near to testing it. So this thing should now, I imagine, in the first initial move over the coming weeks, should rise by around 35% or so. Okay, that brings me to the end of the analysis, and the video will end here.